just about that time. You know, when you've been on Christmas vacation for 987 years, you have to hide and be very quiet because they might come in here and find you. Even teenagers who seem to detest me, they come in here at night. What day is it? What year is it? I mean, is it 2024 yet? Is it December? Is it January? Is it a Sunday? Is it a Wednesday? It's actually a Thursday. We don't go back to school till Tuesday. I mean, this is like the epitome of Groundhog Day, right? Seriously. So I was sitting here thinking, well, I was really thinking I probably should go to bed because I belong to someone who might get up for the day at 3 in the morning. But I recently had a complaint, and the complaint was, you don't do news videos anymore. And I was like, darn it, you know, they're kind of right. I don't do news videos. I just sit around and talk about what I'm doing. Now, I did do a subscriber video earlier, and somebody asked me this question. I thought this was really interesting. They said, what makes you cry other than like something happened to your family? And I was really sitting there thinking, what makes me cry? And I was like, you know, one thing that would make me cry, but I can't watch it, are those darn commercials about the abused animals. SPCA puts them on, and then they've got that McLaughlin person singing, in the arms of the angels, and you just feel like you should like go ahead and like dig your own grave. That would make me cry. I can't listen to it, and it goes on and on and on. And then, yeah, it was you, Phyllis, that asked me the question, and then somebody said, yeah, and why don't the camera people help the animals? It was like one of the funniest comments I've ever heard in my life. And then somebody said, why did they choose that song? I'm like, because the song is about somebody dying. Why would Sarah McLachlan have ever let them have that song? It's been ruined forever. It is basically the SPCA theme song. It's a horrible, horrible song. So anyway, that's a total aside. But news. What is happening in the news is the real question. Well, the biggest news, it makes you cry in real life if you're involved. It would make me cry. That's why I can't watch it. I don't watch it. I can't. I have my limits. The biggest news, well, here's one local news story. Over in Bertie County, which is in North Carolina near me, there is somebody that is impersonating a wildlife officer. This person has stopped 2 people and been going after them. So if you live in Bertie County and you know anything about this fake police officer, aka wildlife officer, call 911. So that's a local news. Another local news story is that, oh yeah, we're getting to that, Debbie, is that William Barber, the, something to do with the NAACP, he's got this kind of unusual problem. I don't know what it is. Disability, I guess. And he went to the movie theater the other day in Greenville, the AMC movie theater, and he gets in there and he takes his own chair. I'm having to ban. There's a lot of people popping in here from scammy cammies from Africa. What are they up to? People talking to me about their orphanages. I got some land to sell you in Miami. So William Barber goes to the AMC theater. He has his chair. Now, if you've never been to Eastern North Carolina, There are some people here that are, well, I'm in Florida right now. There are some people there that are very committed to breaking the law at all cost. I mean, so you have employees, you have businesses, and then you have employees. You have employees that will die on some very, very strange hills. Now teaching at Yale. Really? Well, anyway, he goes to the movie theater and he said, I have this disability. Well, whenever you hear the word disability, that's like the blue light at Kmart. You need to get away as fast as you can and say, do whatever you need to do. I need to sit in my own chair in the disability seating section. And the employee, instead of saying, of course that's not a problem, says, oh no, no sirree, Bobby, you cannot sit in your own chair. Why? Why does it go down like this? So then, instead of the person thinking logically to themselves, this would be like turning away someone with a wheelchair, right? But alas, they did not. Now what they did was they called 911, and then the police come to Greenville, to the movie theater, and they speak to William Barber, and I guess they support AMC Theater. He leaves after he talks to the police. Well, now the AMC Theater is horrified and embarrassed, and the head of AMC wants to come to Greenville on Tuesday to meet with William Barber to apologize for his dummy McDum-Dums telling somebody that they can't utilize the disability section in their own chair. You know, it kind of reminds me, not that it has anything to do with the disability, but when we were on Royal Caribbean's cruise, and I really do love Royal Caribbean, but we get on that cruise boat, and at the end, I went to pay, and I didn't have, my card had gotten, well, not really stolen, I lost it. So I had a credit card on my phone, and I said, I have my card number because I had to pay. And they're like, nope, we have to have the actual card. I was like, well, here's my license and here's my card. And they're like, nope, you can't pay like that. Now, at this point, I'm on a cruise boat with a 9-year-old with autism, alone, the two of us, for 3 nights. And Royal Caribbean is saying, you owe us this, whatever it was, $247. And you have to pay it. And I said, well, what's going to happen? Because I can't. Because you can't use my credit card number. They're like, well, we'll have to turn you over to the port authority. And I said, do you really want to die on this hill? Like, is this how you're going to go down? You don't want to die on this hill. So, Marilyn, the card I had been compromised or something, so I had to freeze it. So I had my other credit card, but I had a picture of it on my phone. And yes, they were going to die on the hill. They were dying on the hill. And if I weren't such I wasn't going to let that going to happen to Amos, like that would have, he actually maybe would have enjoyed it. It would have been very stressful for him, and it wasn't worth letting that ship sink because of him. If I hadn't had him, I wouldn't have cared. So finally, do they accept those things? Evidently not. And they were like, if you had paid last night, it would have worked, but not today. Well, finally, I don't know. I said, you people, this cannot be what's going to happen. Like, you can't turn me over to the port authority because you don't accept credit cards today. Like, this is not fair. It would be like saying, we only take pesos. You'd be like, well, I don't have any freaking pesos. You'd be like, well, then we're calling the police. I mean, no, this is not how the law works. I'm married to an attorney. I understand this. Anyway, finally I got a hold of the manager. He said, no, this is not the hill we're going to die on. You started crying. Did I cry? Was it fake crying or real crying? It must have been real crying. The fake crying was when I talked to the hacker. Do you only have one earring on? I don't know. No, I have on two. Okay. So anyway, that's that. The other news story, the biggest news story today is about Gypsy Rose. Do you remember Gypsy Rose? Because I do. Gypsy Rose was a young woman whose mother made her pretend to be disabled her whole freaking life. 22 years. 22 years made her pretend to be disabled. Had her teeth pulled, made her stay in a wheelchair, shaved her head so it would look like she had chemo. I mean, had surgeries, took all sorts of medicine. She got a Habitat for Humanity house. Tortured. Absolutely tortured. Well, she evidently wised up and got a hold of a phone or social media or something, and she had some boyfriend, and she got him show up at her house and to the mother. To the husband. And then she just got out of jail. She went for 7 years. But she's gone now. But somebody said, well, how do you know the mother had Munchausen by proxy? Well, I'll tell you how I know. Gypsy jumped right out of the wheelchair after the mother died. So clearly, the mother kept her in there. Judgy McJudgerson is wandering around here. It's my husband. She was interviewed by Dr. Phil last year. So yeah, she's out, and I'm glad. She even had her salivary glands removed. You're kidding. Really? You need to look at the chair that he was going to sit in the theater. He was sitting 6 feet up in the air in the handicap section, blocking the movie screen from all the people sitting behind in their movie seats. I saw the chair on the news being carried in. Elizabeth, the handicap section, the way I understood it of William Barber, is the section in the back left, so there were no seats behind him. So, I don't know. But it's just good to not mess with people with disabilities. There was a show about her life. I read. I'm going to kill him. He just grabbed me. And I woke up Amos. You were saying a lot of stuff wrong about Gypsy Rose. I am. That she went to jail for 7 years, or that she was tortured by her mother who had Munchausen by proxy? Which part is wrong? Where is the doctor? You know, the doctors, when you are a mother, doctors listen to you. You know, like you could say, I remember when Amos was really sick and we ended up at the hospital, he had this cyclical vomiting syndrome. Well, everything I was telling them, they didn't see with him, you know? You have to rely on parents. Honestly, now as they get older, maybe not, but you have to rely on parents. I mean, what are they supposed to do? You know? The mother had a medical background, so she knew what to say. I bet she did. Yeah. 3-night story on TV next week. My daughter does not listen. Well, then there's no risk for you to have Munchausen. And then the last news story, Pierce Brosnan got cited for walking off the trails at where the geysers are. Yep, he got a ticket. Mm-hmm. When asked by Dr. Phil if she was glad her mother was dead, she said, "I'm glad that I'm out of that situation, but I'm not happy she's dead." Well, that's the truth. Yeah, I think, well, anyway. Yellowstone. Thank you, Marilyn. Yes, Yellowstone. News. What other news? Other big news. There's big waves in California. That's it. The other news is that people go back to school next week on Tuesday. This is a very exciting day in the world of the world. It's going to be January, but in January in my district, we have 3 days off of school around Martin Luther King Day. So Amos and I might just come on back to Florida. I told my parents that, and you know what they said? That's what they did. Their faces just froze. They froze. Oh, the Idaho house was demolished. Yes, Rose, I saw that yesterday. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, what a shame. Will it be hard to get Amos back to school next week? Probably. God, I hope not, but probably. We don't go back until the 9th. You know, I'm always mad that we go back soon until it's time to go back. And now I'm like, if we didn't go back till the 9th, I would have to do something. When my parents need a little bit of time to miss us. That would give them, let's see, 1 weekend. Well, it might only be like 2 weekends. That's not enough. That's not enough snowing here. I wish we had snow. Hello from Miami. It was very rainy today, but the last couple of days have been beautiful. Really, really nice. We've had a great time. Do they not enjoy Amos? They enjoy Amos. Yes, they love Amos. But Amos is a lot when you're retired and living independently to have 6 people show up at your home. One of them who is autistic, travels with a service dog, and is fairly loud and tends to throw things. It's just a little much. It's a little much for his mother, too. I get it. But Amos loves to be down here. Today, it was pouring rain. He went out and got in the swimming pool alone. I said, "I'm not going swimming." And he was like, he didn't care. He said, Key Biscayne is a wonderful place to live. Which we did break a TV yesterday. The new one's coming in the morning. I'm going to slip it in here so my dad doesn't see it. We were at the airport, and I was telling somebody that, sometimes the TSA people try to get all clever, like, now, what's your name, and how old are you, and what's your birthday? It's like, just stop it right now. Like, quit playing these little mind games. And Amos is paying no attention. Well, this one was like, now, who's Amos? Amos was like Rumpelstiltskin. He ain't never gonna say, "I'm Amos." I mean, he was just not paying any attention. Finally, I said, "He is Amos." He said, "Well, he needs to tell me." I said, "Well, he's nonverbal." And then Amos said, "Are you Russian?" He also asked the lady at the park today if she was Russian. He really likes Russian currently. Oh, yeah. Never dull. And when we got to the airport, I told Delta that we needed a wheelchair because I couldn't find the place to enter in the service dog part. So then they called me up to the gate and they're like, "Do you need a wheelchair? I did buy a plexiglass projector. And I was like, well, no. But I couldn't find the freaking button about the service dog. She was like, it's not that hard to find. I was like, I'm not a total idiot, and I fly American. It's very easy. I'm telling you, Delta is tricky. But anyway, it's a miracle he talked. That's what I should have said. Somehow I'm not a subscriber. Well, go click. I just put the subscriber link on. Click the link if you want to be a subscriber. Tomorrow morning, with the subscribers, we have Seton Tucker coming on to talk about the Murdoch trial and the plagiarism of the clerk who wrote the book about the Murdochs. Very, very, very naughty clerk. Naughty, no. Who plagiarizes in a book? It's one thing to plagiarize like in a term paper, but a book that everybody's going to read? And she just lifted stuff from like some major writer and put it in her book. Is she crazy? She's crazy. Where's Big T? Well, he grabbed me a little while ago. He's back there. They're watching Flower Moon or some kind of movie. What time is the flight tomorrow? Well, it was at 7:30. I moved it to 4:30. But it could possibly move earlier depending on our state in the morning. Yeah, Becky Hill. So we're going to be talking to Becky Hill tomorrow on Seton Tucker on my subscriber page. So see y'all in the morning. Goodbye.